So we're about to head to the junkyard real fast, pick up some wood because I want to make a better floor in here to roll my engine stand a bit better. Because today, I mean, I have things on this car I still need to do with the transit to come out, the axles, all the struts, the 4Motion system, but honestly, I'm not feeling it right now. So today, what I feel like doing is test fitting the VR5 in the Savoy, which I think will be super awesome to see that engine mount up in this car. Obviously, it's not ready to be, I mean, actually the engine right now is ready to run. I don't have the harness yet, but that thing is ready to go if we wanted to. But today, I'm gonna get a better floor in here so I can roll the engine hoist better, and we are putting the VR5 in the Savoy because why not? I want to see it. This will also be a really cool opportunity to show you guys exactly how these Fabless mounts for the engine work. In case you were thinking about getting a set for your car for a VR5 swap, I'll show you exactly how their kit works with its engine and mounts into the Mark III directly. Now, I do realize there's no transmission on this engine yet, so we won't be able to use the Fabless Manufacturing O2J mount to go right there, but we can use this rear mount and the tubular front section with the solid front mount. Since there's no weight on this side, that should be enough to have the engine just sit in place for now and not be an issue. Like I said, that Fabless VR5 mount will go right back here, utilizing the factory Mark III spot versus the Mark IV mount on the side, and then obviously we'll have the one that goes into the front down over here. So let's get it. Oh yeah, you're an American for sure. Oh yeah, good old Z28. I tell you what, I am so ready for this car to make VR6 sounds. It's gonna be so much more fun to drive. Gas mileage will not be as good, but we'll have more fun. That's what it's about, just having fun. Not a bad little junkyard squad parked up over here. Looking good. So over there's a whole bunch of like large flatwood pieces that Matt said I could have, which is cool, but I found over here, this is a Volkswagen Polo. What's cool about these cars, so you guys know, I put the O2J Mark IV shifter in my car. You have to drill 2 holes. It's not very hard to do, but you can do it. It's not a direct fit, but it is not too hard to do. This car actually has what they call the Polo box. I can pull this up. So if you see down there, that is an O2J style shifter, but this one supposedly bolts directly to a Mark III with no modification needed, which is actually pretty cool. So I'll probably come back and I'll snag, let's see. Oh, this engine's a little bit the wrong direction. That's fine, as long as my cables are good. These look to be fine. So yeah, I'll probably come back and snag this Polo box, and I'll put this one in the Savoy, because the Savoy's gonna have an O2J trans with obviously the O2J shift box, but instead of using the Mark IV one where I have to drill 2 holes, I'll use this one, which is a direct fit into the Mark III. So that'll be cool. Good score. So I actually didn't plan on doing this today, but I figured while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this Polo box out. I already got the end caps here off. I mean, I don't need these at all, but I might as well do that for now. This is all bolted off of the trans. So now I'm just gonna have him grab the forklift, lift up the car so I'm like laying on the ground, do the bolts inside, the bolts underneath, and pull the entire thing out. And then later on when I need it, we'll be good to go. And then inside here, it should be the same bolts as a normal Mark III. So there should be 2, yeah, 1 and 2 on the back side. There should be 1 more 13 right up under all this stuff, which I'm probably just gonna break out of here because I don't have the time to pull this out nicely. So 2 in the back, 1 in the front, and then 2 underneath, I think, and this whole thing should drop right on out of here. So surprisingly enough, all this piece just like pops straight off. I didn't actually break anything, which is cool. So now we can get to these bolts in the back here. It looks like there's actually 2 in the front there. Man, it's just a bracket. We'll see. I just want it out. So there's actually 4 bolts, 2 in the back and then 2 in the front, but everything up here is out. You can see the entire thing is loose. We have to get in the car now and remove probably some of the exhaust, the heat shield, and then whatever else is holding this. I mean, it might be out right now. It might just be on top of the heat shield. We'll see, but almost there. All right, we're getting some wood here loaded up, and then Matt's bringing the forklift to lift up my Polo here. There she is, boys and girls. Our Polo box complete. Very, very nice. Good to go. So like I said, I'll probably use this with the O2J trans in the Savoy, or no, if I do go with I'll probably use this. I don't know, because I'm taking the one I'm taking the one that's in Miley out for something else. But I want to put the Mark IV O2J. I had to drill some holes. This is a direct fit, so I don't know. We'll see. I just wanted this today, so now I have it. Whether I'm going to use it or not, I don't quite know yet, but I have it if need be. Heading back home now. I spent way too much time at the junkyard. I only want to get some wood, and I got 1 piece of wood. I wanted to get more, but the rest were a lot wider, and I couldn't fit them in the car, so I got 1, which should be enough to at least roll the engine hoist much easier. Also grabbed a couple parts here and there. It's hot, man. I'm tired, but we'll go home, get this wood put in place, and then we'll go ahead and test fit the VR5 in the Savoy, which is gonna look sick. It is officially time to test fit our VR5 in the Savoy. These are the mounts here, the tubular front subframe portion with the solid bushing front mount, and this one will bolt up right to here somewhere. And then we have this one, the beautiful Biome VR5 mount. This one will go on the back side somewhere like there, looks like. There? Yeah, I see bolt holes, so probably 1, 2, 3, 4, just like so. Such an awesome mount. We've got our new setup here. Definitely not the most ideal setup, but it should get the job done nonetheless. Once the engine's up, we'll go ahead and get the rear mount here bolted up, and I'll show you guys how. And I should have all the hardware for that inside of here. And then once the engine's in the engine bay, I'll do the back 2 bolts over there for the rear mount, and then we'll get the front subframe part here put in place and the front mount as well, and then let the weight off of the jack itself, and the engine should be fully supported in the engine bay. And I just can't wait to see the V5 inside this. So look at the back of the engine here. You can see with this new Mark III style mount, it's gonna go right here like so. So it looks like it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is the bracket that they have on the 4Motion cars to brace the front diff, but that's coming off obviously. These are T50s, and I think these are 17s or 18s. Let me see. 17s. So we'll blast those off and get this thing mounted up. Oh, I think it's just so sick. 1 and 2. And I guess right now I'm going to use this hardware if it fits to there, which it should. And now we'll swap to our T50 bit here. No such luck. I might need the breaker bar for this one. We'll see. There it is. There's one. There it is. That was rolling pretty tight. So now we have this one. That should go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. This thing looks so sick. All right, one there. Like I said, I have hardware that they provided for this, but just right now, I'll have to throw these ones real fast. This is right here. This one will go down here. And then one more on this bottom side. So this other hole wasn't used before, but it should be rethreaded, no problem. Yeah, oh, look how sick that looks. Look at that. So cool. VR5 right there. So you won't be able to see the VR5 in the car, but you'll be able to see this part looking down, which is still sick. Very, very cool to go from the Mark IV style mount right to the very cool Mark III style mount. So now this is done. We can go ahead and get the engine wheeled into the car, and then once it's in there, I'll put these 2 bolts in so this is secure, and then we'll go from. And then one other thing I want to say about this mount, you can see there's a gap right here. So these holes on the backside of this mount aren't completely round, they're like ovaled out, so you have room to move the mount left or right. So they said when you install these mounts, don't fully tighten them down just yet. Get everything in the car, then you can adjust and have that little bit of room to make sure everything fits properly, then you can snug it down. I can't believe we're actually about to put the VR5 into the Savoy for the first time, which is so cool. It's just a test fit, but still, it's exciting. Dang, look how close it is to being in the car. So I have the arm on the 1 ton. Now this should only weigh about maybe 400 to 450 or so pounds. So obviously this is plenty to hold this. But I wanted the arm to be out far enough to have the engine and not have to lift the car up, and hopefully the arms won't anything. So we should be good to go. I'm gonna go back very, very slowly to not hit my nice fancy frame rails here. I'm gonna drop this one down right on top of there. The engine is just about into place. I'm gonna go ahead and lower it down, and once it's right where it needs to be, I'm just gonna simply just push and adjust it by hand and put the bolts in. That way it'll stay. And just like that, our first mount is all bolted up. Look how cool it's gonna look when you look down and see that. I love it. So now I might have to jack up the car. I think it's gonna be too close to actually fit the front to support between the rail here and the actual hoist. But I'm gonna try it first. If not, we'll lift the car just a little bit and then get our front one in. Now they have new hardware for this because these ones are actually way too long. So I'll have to use the hardware they sent me for those, which I believe is gonna be the gold ones maybe? Or the silver ones? One or two. I'll see which ones are the same thread as the factory ones here. And then we'll go ahead and get these all, one's for the rear, one's for the front. I think these are for the front here with the washers. Either way, we'll get it bolted up. Yo, it's not fully mounted yet, but just to see it like this, like, that is so exciting. That right there is like just all the motivation. Oh, it's gonna be so sick. So yeah, this here is not gonna fit with the engine hoist and the car on the ground. So I'm gonna jack up the car just a little bit, give it some room, and then we'll get that mounted up. All right, we've got the car lifted up, so I have plenty of room to now mount the front bar. I was talking to Alita from Fabless. She said you can see on the back side here, these ones are the 8.8. So the 8.8 bolts are the ones for the front bar, and the ones that are the 10.9s, these gold ones here, these are all for the engine mounts themselves. Engine mounts are, I guess, the thicker and stronger ones, and then the 8.8s for the front bar here. And it's kind of cool how they have the packaging sectioned off. So you have your 4 bolts here that go for all the mounts for this. You have your washers for each one. Then you have an extra washer for the 5th nut here that goes to this mount right through there. So everything is nicely organized. And same for this one. You have the 4 bolts for the back of the mount to the block of the car, the 2 for the mount into the car, and then washers for everything. So everything is very, very nicely packaged and sectioned off. So again, shout out to Fabless. This stuff's so cool. And then same thing for these ones. I'm going to get them snug, but not tight yet. That way we have room to adjust. And once we get everything exactly where it needs to go, then we can go ahead and tighten them up. So rear mount is in loosely, and our front bar is also in loosely. I believe this mount should now go up like this. I'm about to adjust the engine just a little bit. And that should slide in like so. Like that, I believe. This might be upside down. I don't think it is, but it possibly could be. But I think the bolt goes through this one here. You can see that one, the top one, and then the bottom one into this bottom one. I might have to go a little bit higher with the engine itself, but I think this is how this is supposed to go. All right, so I just spoke with Alita a little bit on this front mount, and I actually had it right the first time. I've now flipped it around because you actually have to have the transmission on the car to use both of these mounts and have the angle properly. But what I did now, I flipped the mount around just so I can bolt through the top hole. That way it's gonna hold the engine no problem. We're not putting like too much weight on it, just to have it in the car. But once the transmission's on, we'll be able to bolt it up the exact right way. But still, look how sick that looks. Tubular front section, awesome solder mount, the nice poly bushings in here. Only thing we're missing is the rear trans mount, but we'll do that later on. Either way, it looks so sick. So I'm gonna get a bolt through here real fast, so it's holding the engine there, and then we can go ahead and pull the engine hoist out, and the engine's officially in the car. How sick is that? All right, at this point, everything has been snugged up. I put a bolt to the top section there, and just the front bar's tight, the rear mount's just, everything's just like snugged up. It's not actually gonna go anywhere, but we should be able to now lower the hoist down, take the lift off the engine, and it should support itself no problem. And it's in. Well, I mean, no trans, no rest stuff, but hey, we've got the weight off of the engine. It's officially in the car loosely, but it's still there. Now keep in mind that, like I said, this front mount is upside down. Normally it's flipped, and there's two points that are actually bolted, one to the trans here and one to this spot down here. Obviously I have it the wrong way because I have no trans in the car right now, but I want to see the engine in. So this will work just to hold the engine, but this is obviously not the proper way. And then obviously our cool mount in the rear. Also have the exhaust header on because it just looks so awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out of the way and put the intake manifold on, but man, the engine, dude, it looks so sick. Like that's, I can't wait to finish this thing and just drive this car. Yo, this thing, like, to actually see it in the car, it looks incredible. Now, keep in mind, the engine is tilted a little bit to the right, only because, like I said, this mount isn't mounted properly. The whole engine will come forward a little bit and just be more centered. But just to see, like, everything fits. The exhaust manifold has plenty of room. The throttle body here has about an inch or so above it, so everything clears. There's no issues with that. All this fits. The pan down there has actually a lot more room than I thought. Even with this wood here, there's still plenty of room down there. Obviously this side has plenty of room. The VR6 is actually pretty close, but it's being a VR5. Plenty of room here. Obviously the trans go over there, mounted the axles, but everything clearance wise looks to be completely how it should. So cool to actually see this thing in the car. Man, oh man, I love it. I cannot wait for the first startup and just, whew. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Again, massive shout out to Fabless because these mounts put this engine in the car like just easy. It's like factory. It's like this engine came in this car with this mount kit. So if you want this, you want to put a VR5 in your Mark 2, 3, or your Corrado, this is the mount kit for you. Or if you just want to do this exact setup for your VR6, I mean, they do all types of stuff. So don't forget, make sure you guys check out Fabless Manufacturing. Use my code if you want to buy any of their parts that they actually make, dude. This stuff's so sick. Ah, man, this right here, this motivates me. Like, I've been motivated before, but like to see it in the car, this has me hype. I'm gonna go ahead and actually put the front end. Yeah, I'll toss the front end on real quick just to see it for the front side. Oh, I love it. Went ahead and tossed the front end on. Now there's no bolts in this at all. It's literally just sitting there, but I kind of wanted to see it almost in like one piece. It looks so cool. Now, one thing I noticed, I'm gonna have to swap this radiator out because this one has the inlets over here and these ones are over here on the factory radiator. Now I could do like some sort of like crossover pipe, but I'll just swap radiators for a VR1 and that'll fix that issue. And again, this front mount, I'm gonna say it a bunch of times, is not in there correctly. I did this just to have the engine in the car for visual purposes because I just wanted to see it. Everything clear like it's supposed to, but once the mount in the front is done right, when I have the trans on, this will probably sit about 2 or 3 inches lower in the front and obviously be completely straight like it's supposed to be. But I just wanted to see it. I'm super excited for the engine. Man, it looks so cool in the car and I can't wait. I think I'm gonna go ahead and paint match the intake manifold to the same LB6T. I want to paint match this, leave this black, and I also want to do the valve cover itself black. You know, you can't really see it at all, but still, I'm thinking green to match the car, fresh trim paint on this, and then green here as well. And it's going to look absolutely incredible. Look how good it looks. That's so cool. It's just so cool. That'll be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, this thing is like, now, obviously, the engine has to come back out of the car, go in the engine stand, get torn down a little bit, and get some maintenance done to it. But I've just been thinking about seeing this engine in the car for months now, honestly, and I had to do it. And again, just to reiterate for like the 15th time, the front mount in this car is not in there properly. I just did it to mount the engine in the car because there's no trans. Once it's mounted properly, it'll sit lower and straight and it'll be perfect. I mean, right now everything clear as is, but it's not in there correctly. So if you have this kit, do not mount it how I mounted it because it's wrong. Got it? Got it. Take it all in, boys. I gotta say, the V5 looks right at home in the Savoy. I'm very happy with my choice of engine. That'll be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget, be thankful for us. We'll see you guys next time. Peace. Alright, so if you've made it this far in the video, one, thumbs up to you. But I've been sitting here just looking at this car for quite a long time and talking to Greg and to the people, talking to Fabless and stuff. I want to, but then it's just more money, more time. I might just leave the engine as is, maybe do like the water pump or the external stuff of the engine, but like the car, you guys have seen it plenty of times, the car ran great, no issues. I mean, a simple set of coil packs and spark plugs and the basic outside stuff. I mean, like, all the hoses look good. There's no leaks anywhere. There's no oil leak besides the drain plug. Everything else looks completely good to go. Should we, this is where we'll have an open conversation here, leave in the comments below. Should I just focus on getting the harness done, get that back? Once the if I leave it as is, once the harness is back, we can plug it up and drive this car. Greg said, leave it as is, just get it on the road and enjoy it. And then later on, if I want to go through, do a full refresh, if I'm going to go like put a supercharger on or a booster or whatever. But I don't know. I'm thinking I might just leave it as is. Because I mean, looking around the engine, like there's no leaks. It's very, very clean. Even the water pump, everything in the car worked no problem. I don't know. Like, I would love to go through and put everything fresh, but it's a lot more time and a lot more money, which we could do. It would just take longer to get the car done. Or do we just get the harness done, plug it up, and send her? Now, obviously, I would still go through, paint some stuff, and make it look nicer, and a few external things, but I would leave the clutch it has on it, just find an O2J trans, and just call it a day. Because like I said, the car ran great, the clutch felt good, there's never an overheating issue, everything worked on it. I don't know, I'm kind of torn. What do you guys think? Rebuild it? Like, talking like chains, gasket, water pump, do a new crack pipe, thermostat housing, clutch, all that kind of stuff that I did in my last VR6. Or leave it as is and send it. Now, I don't know if the chains have been done before. There's zero chain noise right now. It runs so completely smooth. There's a chance they may have done before or maybe not. The car had 226,000 kilometers on it, which is somewhere in the mid like 100,000s or so. I'm not an expert on the number there, but it's mid 100,000s. And I mean, I've read plenty of forums. People say don't touch your chains until you actually hear chain noise, which this one sounds perfect. Some people say change it every 100,000 miles. I don't know. I mean, just kind of, I don't know. Leave your comments down below. Rebuild or sender. I mean, I would love to get this car back on the road and just drive it. If we could register the car, which we don't know if we can or not yet. Hopefully we can, but there's still also that. I mean, I could always deregister one of the cars we have now and then do this one. That's always an option, but I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Rebuild or just sender as is with a quick paint touch up, that kind of stuff, obviously, but mechanical wise, just send it as is. I don't know. See you guys tomorrow.